Students, a very good morning. So today let's discuss the next chapter, that is motion, and already actually we are discussing that one. So here in the next chapter, as up to now we have discussed the brief introduction of mechanics. So as in case of mechanics, you have seen how many branches of mechanics and how many types of motions are here possible, whose study we will do in this class 11th. So one by one all the motions we will study. So here what we are doing in this chapter, simple, we are going for the rectilinear motion or motion in straight line. So in motion in straight line, we have seen what is distance and displacement. After that, let's discuss the rest of the topic. That is the first topic of today. This is speed. So let's see what is speed. You are familiar with this word, familiar with the definition, but still here in some new aspect we will see it also. So first let's see the familiar definition of speed. That is, speed of an object is in motion is defined as the ratio of total path length, that is actual distance covered, and the corresponding time taken by the object. Means if some of the body is covered, the distance A to B, suppose this is our point A, this is point B, in some time t, so the path travelled by this object is, actual path travel is AB, and the time taken by it is t. So this is simple, the definition of speed: distance, actual, or the path length you can say, or actual distance travelled per unit time taken. So we have discussed already what is path length. So path length is what? That is the actual distance travelled. So actual distance means, means suppose in this point A and B you have, suppose A is your starting point and B is your final point, your destination point. So you can go to your destination by number of paths. Suppose you are adopting this path, you can adopt this type of path. So here you can see in all the paths as path length or actual distance covered are the different. So it means that time the speed will be different for different paths. Clear? Next one, as we have discussed, I think what is scalar and vector quantity. So here if you will see speed, this is the scalar quantity. Means about speed we have no idea about the direction. We are only saying that suppose this car is moving with 50 meter per second speed. So whenever we are saying the speed, that time we don't mention, we don't have any idea about the direction in which that car is going or the person is going. Only we have the idea about the speed of that person. Means what is the distance covered by him in that time. So this is the speed, simple. So next one here, if you will see one more property of speed, then speed of any object can be zero or positive but never negative. So here it means that you can see speed of an object can be zero. When will actually it will zero? When the actual path travelled, this is now zero. So it means that if particle is stationary, is at rest, that position is not changing with time, then that time that speed is zero. So that can be zero. Now if we will come to the topic of positive means continuously the value of speed is increasing. So speed can increase, as you can see now, whenever some of the path will be travelled, or without increasing even, you can understand. Whenever the distance travelled, you will see the distance travelled can never be negative, that will be always positive. And if distance upon time you will take, then definitely that quantity is positive. So that can be positive, but never, as distance can never be negative. That's why here the speed can never be negative. Clear, I think. The next one, let's see the here the unit of speed in CGS system. You will see that is centimeter per second. In MKS system, meter per second. So the dimensional formula, as we have discussed in first chapter already. Now let's see some types of speeds here. So the first type of speed that is uniform speed. So uniform speed is what? An object is said to be moving with a uniform speed if it covers equal distances in equal intervals of time, howsoever small these intervals may be. So here it means that if suppose for example here one example is given, I will take this one. If a car is moving on a straight road from place A to B, the distance is 80 kilometers. Suppose this is our A point, this is our B point. A car is moving on this one and this distance is now 80 kilometer. So it covers just 80 kilometer distance in 4 hours. So here next means if in 4 hours it covers and then covers 20 kilometer in every 1 hour, then the car is moving with a uniform speed 20 kilometer per hour. So it means that simple you can say if your car is covering a distance 20 kilometer in each hour, so in 1 hour it is only traveling 20 kilometer. Again in second hour it is traveling 20 kilometer. Again in third hour it is traveling 20. Means you can divide actually this one in 4 part. So one part is traveled, that is equal to whole part are 20 and they are traveled in 1 hour. So this time as you will calculate the speed for these portions, then that will be equal to 20 kilometer per hour, and that is the constant speed for 4 parts, then that's why it is called uniform speed. So it means that the value of speed is uniform, that is constant. Now let's see the second one, that is variable speed. So what is variable speed? An object is said to be moving with a variable speed if it covers equal distances in unequal interval of time or unequal distances in equal interval of time, and howsoever small these intervals may be. So if you want to understand what is variable speed, actually by word variable it means that value of speed will change with time. So for example, let's understand this statement by the example. If a car is moving on straight road from place A to B and cover successive 20 kilometer distances in timing 1.5 hour, 1.25 hours, 1 hour and 0.7 hours. So in before just now as we have taken these 2 points A, B, and now these 2 points are divided into 4 times, that is 20 kilometers each. Then that time this 20 kilometer it has traveled with different time it has taken. For this 20 kilometer it has taken 1.25 hour. So similarly for this one it has taken 1 hour, for this one 0.75 hours. So you can see for all these 20 kilometers every time the car is taking different timings. So if you will calculate the speed here by the formula 20 upon 1.5, then for the second one 20 upon 1.25, again 20 upon 1 and 20 upon 0.75, you will find out the speeds are different at every portion for every interval. So that's why you can see the speed is changing. So the changing speed is called the variable speed. Now the third one, let's see average speed. So average concept you know and that arise whenever we are taking some types of arithmetic means. So let's see first definition. When an object is moving with a variable speed, then the average speed of the object is that constant speed with which the object covers the same distance in a given time as it does while moving with variable speeds during the given time. So average speed of the given motion is defined as the ratio of the total distance travelled by the object to the total time taken. So this is very simple. If suppose your object has taken different time intervals for different distances, and that time you have calculated speed in different time intervals, and that time if you will take their mean, then that will provide you the average speed. So you can see average speed is that speed with which you can say that your object is moving with that average speed, and it will take that time to cover the same distance. Means here what we are doing, we are just converting our variable speed problem to the uniform speed problem by taking the concept of average speed actually. Just a second. Now let's see here if you will see the formula derivation for this one. So average speed, its formula is given now, total distance travelled upon total time taken. Now here the formula derivation you can see. Suppose the particle we have that travels distances s1, s2, s3 with the speeds v1, v2, v3 etc. respectively in the same direction. So what will be the total distance travelled? That is s1 plus s2 plus s3 and so on, obvious. Then total time taken, time you know that is distance upon velocity. So for the first one distance, that is s1, if you will see the time, then as s1 distance was travelled by speed v1, so the time taken to cover this distance s1 is s1 upon v1. Similarly here for the s2 and v2 with this time, that is s2 upon v2 and so on. So you have the total time, you have total distance. Now you apply this formula to calculate the average speed. So you can calculate average speed by this formula. And for the average speed, the generalized formula is also given. If s1 is s2 is equal to s, then what will be the total distance covered, and then what is the, you can say, the average speed. Then you can see average speed is equal to 2v1 v2 upon v1 plus v2 if velocities are different but distances are same. Means if 20 kilometer distance, suppose 40 kilometer distance we have between 2 points, and we have divided this to 20 kilometer and 20 kilometer. So s1, s2 are same here, but the time taken by them are different. So it means that the velocities are different here. Here velocity is v1, here velocity is v2. Then that time you can see the time is different, and that's why the average velocity can be calculated by this one. So next one here you can see the average speed is equal to harmonic means of individual speed. Actually this the formula you are seeing, this is called the harmonic mean formula. So here you will just study that in mathematics also, but harmonic means is simple. This that is, you can say, the combination of geometric mean and arithmetic mean. Now next one, if you will see here one more formula here, that is if particle is taken just traveling with different speeds and different interval of time it is taken. Now we have taken the concept of equal distances, means different interval. Suppose for t1 interval it has just moved with speed v1. For again t2 it has moved with v2. For t3 it has moved with v3. Then that time what will be the total distance travelled? So distance is velocity into time. So for first one v1 t1 distance, for second one v2 t2, then v3 t3 and so on. And total time, if you will see, this is equal to this one. Now again the average speed you can calculate by the same formula, total distance upon total time. So just to use that one, and by using that one you can see here the concept of the average speed, and by the average speed you can just derive this formula if intervals are same. If intervals are not same, then this will be the formula, but for same interval means if t1, t2, t3 all are same, then that time this will be the formula, and this is simple, the arithmetic mean. So if distances are same, then that will be you can say a harmonic mean, and for the same case of time, then that is arithmetic mean. So this is the formula to calculate average speed. Now let's see the next one. What is instantaneous speed? The fourth type of speed, let's see. Instantaneous speed is exactly what? For any particular instant, what is the speed of the body? We don't know how much distance it has travelled in different intervals, what is the velocity speed with which it has covered the distances. We don't know anything. We would just want to know at present, at any instant, what is the speed. So that is called instantaneous speed. Means at a given instant, what is the speed, that is called the instant. And if instantaneous speed we have to calculate, we can just use this formula. Instantaneous speed of an object at an instant of time t is defined as the limit of the average speed as the time interval delta t at a given instant of time becomes infinitesimally small. So here it means that if you will take the limit delta t tends to 0, delta s upon delta t, means for a small interval of distance upon time, if you will just imply the limit, that is converted into the ds by dt, where ds by dt you are familiar, as mathematical tools you have studied. So that is the differential coefficient of s, means distance with respect to t. So first derivative of distance with respect to time is the language of calculus, you can say. Now in the case of uniform motion of an object, the instantaneous speed is equals to its uniform speed. So if your motion is uniform motion is what? Means simple thing, the speed is uniform there. So if body is moving with uniform speed, then that time it is called uniform motion. For example, if you will see where we can measure the instantaneous speed, so in vehicles we are using speedometers. So speedometer always measure the instantaneous speed. Let's see one sample problem here. So the sample problem is a man walks for 1 minute at a speed of 1 meter per second, then runs for 1 minute at a speed of 3 meter per second along a straight track. So what is the average speed? So again, for average speed, what you have to do? You have to calculate total distance, then total time. So for total distance, first what you will do? You will calculate the time taken by the object man in 1 minute with the speed 1 meter per second. So for first one, if you will see the distance, suppose s1 distance covered by the man, that will be equal to 1 minute. If you will convert into the second, that is 60 seconds in standard unit. Then 1 meter per second, it is already in standard unit. So this is 60 meter distance is travelled. Now in the second, for 1 minute as 3 meter per second it has speed. Then s2 distance you can see that will be again 60 into 3. So this is 180. Now these are the two distances travelled by the man on a straight track. Now total distance will be what? S1 plus S2. So let's just take their addition. So obviously this will be equal to 240. So total distance is, now we have 180 plus 60, that is 240 upon total time. So time was what? Here 1 minute we are seeing, and again another 1 minute, means 2 minute time we have. 2 minute converted into seconds. So this will be equal to 120 seconds. And now if you will solve, then you can find out the average speed, that is equal to 2 meter per second. So here this is our average speed. So this is very easy problem. Actually always you have to adopt the same procedure. Just first find out total distance, then find out total time, then use the average speed formula. Let's see the next topic, that is velocity. So velocity is what? Velocity of an object in motion is defined as the ratio of displacement and the corresponding time interval taken by the object. Now in our speed concept, if we will write down in place of distance the displacement, and displacement you have understood already, displacement is shortest distance travelled, or you can say the difference between final and initial point, that is called the displacement. So suppose if for 2 points we have A and B, so number of path can be taken to reach here A to B, but if you will see the distance between final and initial, means B minus A, if you will see, so this path you will obtain, shortest path. So this shortest path is known as displacement. So here velocity is what? With which velocity the body is displacing, that is the velocity. So velocity you will see now, it is vector quantity. It is defining the direction also, means here the body is displaced from A to B in certain interval of time also. So it means that now we have the concept of direction. So that's why velocity is vector quantity. It has magnitude and direction both. And here one more very important concept. You can see the velocity of any object can be positive, 0 and negative according to displacement. As here you can see the displacement. Displacement can be 0 if body is not going anywhere, then that time, or if in another term, suppose a body is going from A to B, again it is returning from B to A, then that time you can see the final and initial final position is the same. You will take the difference, you will find out displacement 0. Then that time, as displacement is 0, velocity will be 0. And positive means you are continuously going only, so that time all displacement is increasing, then this will give you the positive value. And if suppose you have gone to the from here to here, from suppose A to B, then you are coming back from B to, and then you go beyond the A, then that time you can see this is your final location, this is your initial location. If you will see, just take the difference, that will be negative. So here negative, due to negative displacement you will have negative velocity. So velocity can be negative, positive or 0 depending on the displacements. And here you can see the velocity, unit of velocity is same as the speed, and its dimensional formula is also same. Now uniform velocity means here, if in equal body just cover equal displacements in equal interval of time, howsoever small the interval may be. So here in the same manner like we have defined the uniform speed, you can define the uniform velocity also. See the next concept, that is uniform motion in a straight line. This is our now the next concept of the chapter. This is what is uniform motion in a straight line. Here one more thing, in this chapter we will study about only the uniform motion, not about the non-uniform or any other type of motion. So let's see now what is uniform motion. So an object is said to be in uniform motion if its velocity is uniform. Just now means it undergoes equal displacements in equal interval of time. Means if here you can see the body is displacing suppose 10 meter, 10 meter, 10 meter and 10 meter, and time taken by this displacement is same, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour. That time the velocity will be uniform, and that is called, that type of motion is known as uniform motion. So here I think this definition is now clear. Here you can see the definition or mathematical form of the uniform motion in a straight line. Now let's see the formula for uniform motion. So in the case of formula for uniform motion, this formula connects the position, velocity and time. So as I have told you in class also, if some of the body, suppose it is changing its position, like for example in this figure you can see, if a body starts its motion from O and in different interval of time, means at t is equal to 0 it is at A, at t equal to t1 it is at B, t is equal to t2 it is at t2, just C. Then that time the distances is given, O from O to A it is x0, O to B this is x1, O to C this is x2. Then you can write down here what will be the x1. So x1 is what? This is x0 plus the velocity, if it is constant, suppose v is the velocity with which our particle is just moving, then that time this is v into t1. So this one where arrow sign you are seeing over any1, that is representing or the denotation of vector quantity. So as here displacement and velocity both are vectors, so that's why we are representing by these arrows. So x1 is displacement here, and that x1 can be represented in this way. Means x0 the distance already where the particle has travelled and it was at A, and again from at A 0 to t second or 0 to t1 time actually it has covered some of the distance with some velocity v, then what will be the distance? V into t1. So you can add and it will be equal to x1. Similarly x2 can be calculated by just adding the distance travelled by here to here plus x1. So here or in another word you can also represent it in terms of x0 also. Here x0 and distance travelled means 0 to t2. So 0 to t2, if it is travelling with velocity v, then this will be the v into t2. This will be the distance. So this is the total distance, that is x2 we have. Now x2 minus x1, if you will calculate, then this is providing you this value, and finally from here you can calculate the x2 displacement in terms of even just x1 also. So I think this is now given, and here you can see this equations 5, 6 and 7. These all equations are called kinematics of uniform motion along the straight line. These we are using to just find out the displacement or position of any of the object here. Let's see some special cases here. Just a second. So special case is what? The first special case, if x1 minus x2, this is equal to some s, t1 minus t2 is equal to t, then that time s is equal to vt we are obtaining, and this is very familiar formula. S by v is equal to time, or displacement is equal to velocity into time. Now the second one, if you will see, for a uniform motion in one dimension, displacement is equal to distance travelled and velocity is equal to speed. So hence the arrowhead over the displacement and velocity vector may be dropped. So it means that if our motion is uniform, then that time displacement and distance both are same, and velocity and speed both are same. So as both are same, then that time no need to just represent them by the, you can say, any of the vector arrow. So there no scalar, no vector have to use. Now if you will see the sum of the graphs now. So as position time graphs for a moving object. So the first one graph is if any object is at rest or stationary. So if object is at rest, it means that its position is not changing with time. So with respect to time, it's as position is already x0, means at origin it was x0 already in starting, then in even after t time its position is maintained, that is x0 already. So this is the graph for the object at rest. Second one, if object is in uniform motion along a straight line, means continuously the velocity is you can say just changing with time. So here it means that as time is changing, then that's why the x0 and t, its product that will also x0 by t, that will also change, and due to that one we will obtain this one graph, that is called the linear graph we will obtain here. The next graphs you can see again here, if you will see in this graph OA, the first OA is representing the object has started its motion from origin, means from t is equal to 0 and x is equal to 0, and then its continuously position and time are changing. Here the second one BC, this one BCF, you will see this one. This is representing that object has started its motion within some time below, means some time before already. So here it means that its position is starting to change at somewhat you can say faster than the time. Here in the third one GDE, you will see it just start is change its position after the time even, means now it may here what is the meaning, means time has just passed but position has not changed to start, after some time it started to change, and that time we are obtaining this kind of graph. Now the fourth one graph, you will see this one graph. This is for the if suppose just with time if position is decreasing, means continuously if someone is approaching to you, that time it will decrease. So this kind of decreasing graph you will have. Next one here, here we can see this is if object is in non-uniform. Non-uniform means its velocity changing continuously with time. So you can see in this graph continuous the velocity changing, and due to which this in this graph we have the curved portion, linear portion, then constrained portion, a lot of portions we have. This is possible only in non-uniform motion. So these are the graphs that we have just discussed now. So students, here today we have discussed here a lot of about the motion, like what is speed, velocity, and what are the differences, and how to just calculate the different kind of speeds and velocities. And here different types of graphs we have also seen for uniform motion and non-uniform motion. So for today, let's just end our class here. In next class, let's discuss the rest of the things, and we will discuss accelerated motion and the graphs for that kind of motion. So thank you for today, students.